especially if the guy was doing zero carb the entire time to gain muscle in what I presume to be a deficit to get really ripped. You would need some sort of exogenous anabolic support. What's up, guys? Derek, moreplates.com. Today we're going to be talking about Zac Efron's transformation for Baywatch and if it was natural and what I think he took, if anything. So before I get into this, I want to preface something really quick, and that is that this physique is achievable naturally. Let's not discount the fact that he's only probably like 170, 180 pounds at most here, if even. Like, the guy, the reason he looks so ripped is literally the body fat percentage. He's not big at all. He probably has like a 14 or a 15-inch arm here and probably weighs, 170, 180 pounds. And Jeff Cavalier actually made a really good video called The Harsh Truth about Zac Efron 10-pound muscle gain, where he basically elaborates on how, the people are going to use this as a cop-out for, not training hard. When they see a celebrity make a great transformation, they just want to, attribute it to gear. So then they think, oh, if I'm not on gear, there's no way I can look like that, so I'm just not even going to try. I do agree with that to some extent, because in Zac's case, it's not like he's, overly muscular whatsoever. Like, this guy he literally pumps up before the scene and then goes on camera like oiled up and completely inflated in like the perfect circumstances, and has been dieting for probably, who knows, several months before this show, or this movie I should say. And when you look at him in a shirt, like, the guy's not huge by any means. You look at his arm, you can tell he's a low body fat, but he's not holding a lot of muscle. So this is not something unrealistic to achieve by natural standards whatsoever. And I would think anyone who doesn't think that this is achievable naturally just has never tried really dieting down to see how lean they can get after a few years of building a foundation. So with that being said, though, do I think he took something for this role? I think potentially, and I'm going to tell you what I think he probably took if he did take something. And the only reason I'm going to say he might have took something is because he outlined how he didn't eat carbs for several months in a row.
It was a lot of dietary restrictions. I didn't eat carbs for like 2 months.
And he was still able to pack on 10 pounds of muscle. Now, whether he bulked up and then cut down or what the process was exactly, I'm not exactly sure. But I'm just going to, for the sake of this video, assume he did take something and outline what I think that was exactly. So in the clips, you see a lot of people who have, never shredded down to 7% or less aren't going to realize that this is a physique that can be achievable naturally. And if you look at Zac, one thing that should be noted is the fact that it's not like this guy had a terrible physique before this movie. Like, the guy always has visible abs. He's a lean guy with decent structure. I guess genetically, most people are going to be skinny fat, and this guy is, he probably has like a borderline, I don't know, like Chippendales kind of physique, where he has like some visible abs. He's probably like 12% body fat, and then he has like, he obviously works out and he has muscle on his frame. He doesn't have a terrible physique. Like, compared to the average person, he's, elite. We're not talking about in a social media influencer context of, is he as good as, X guy who's in the fitness industry. For a regular person, he has good genetics and he's visible abs without even trying. So this guy has a good foundation to work off of. And, wherever he goes, he seems to always have a visible six-pack, even when he's not preparing for movie roles. And you can see, he's definitely 10% around there and has the visible abs going. Is he crazy muscle bound? No, he's not. But in the movie, apparently he's 10 pounds heavier of lean tissue than he is walking around normally. Do I attribute that all to training? I don't know. It's tough to say for sure, but like, this is what he looks like just run of the mill when he's not preparing for a movie role. Like, the guy is not muscular, but he's lean. Like I mentioned, still has visible abs even without trying. And a lot of people don't seem to realize that the guy has a good physique objectively. Like, from like maybe like a model perspective, the guy is like, like runway lean, I guess, and has visible abs and a decent foundation of muscle for being this lean. Like you see here, he still has those same ab cuts that he has in the movie, not as deep as in the movie, but they're there. And the guy is always in shape. He's never out of shape. Obviously, he gets prepared for movies and packs it on a bit more, but even in his past roles, like, he doesn't look significantly worse. The guy has less muscle again, but he's always lean. He always has that the chiseled abs. So for people to think this is unachievable naturally, it reminds me of the people who think that guys like Brad Pitt in Fight Club have had to be on gear to look like this when he looks like an emaciated 155 pounds, which just isn't the case. Like, this is absolutely achievable naturally. And it's just a matter of discipline and dieting down to get to that look and having some foundation of muscle to support your metabolism. With all that being said, exactly what do I think Zac took based on the fact that in the past, you know, when he's not even been prompted, like this situation, he just had his shirt ripped off at some awards thing. The guy still has abs, you know, he's always in shape, but the Baywatch role, he looks significantly more buff and he has about 10 pounds more muscle. And what I think he probably took to prepare for this role is, if anything, probably just some oral Winstrol, to be honest. And, you know, a lot of people who have nowhere near this physique are going to, you know, potentially get butthurt and think, okay, there's no way this guy's not on trend, he's on test, and blah, 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 blah. With Zac, the guy's dry. He's, you know, ripped. The most notable thing is how dry this guy is in this movie. Like, he's very, very shredded. He's dieted down, but he's also really got that grainy look that, you know, guys get preparing for a contest. Like, the guy's within striking distance of doing like a men's physique show, probably, if he just shaved that carpet off his chest. And his abs, he would look way leaner too. Again, though, for these roles, when they're doing these scenes, he's literally doing exercises, which are going to show all the detail on your muscle and make you look significantly leaner than you are. The guy's got a visible Christmas tree. He has barely any body fat on him whatsoever, but he's still holding a large amount more muscle than he normally does at that body fat. So I think at most, he probably took some oral Winstrol that his, you know, trainer probably told him to take for the tail end of the prep, especially if the guy was doing zero carb the entire time to gain muscle in what I presume to be a deficit to get really ripped. You would need some sort of exogenous anabolic support. And I think for this transformation in particular, it's not like he gained, you know, 20 pounds of tissue or anything, but he's bigger than he would have been probably if he was completely natural for the short time frame that he did it. So I think if he did do something, it was probably just a short blast of oral Winstrol, and that would be my best guess. And it would sort of coincide with that dry look of his physique and maintaining and building size in what I presume to be a deficit with no carbs. The guy literally said he didn't eat carbs for several months going into this movie. So for you to build on your current physique, eating a macronutrient deficient diet, especially a carbohydrate deficient one that, you know, drives the pathway of growth so significantly, like in my opinion, a keto diet is probably the worst model for growing in an off season where you're trying to build muscle. And doing a keto diet for a movie role where you're trying to get leaner, sure, that makes sense. But if you're trying to build muscle at the same time, you're going to underperform and gain less muscle than you would otherwise. So it's not entirely far-fetched to assume that this guy took something like an oral Winstrol to prepare for this role where he's able to pack on muscle while in a carbless deficit too. Like, that in itself would lend to the fact that I believe there's a much greater likelihood that he took something to prepare for this role in the short term. So anyways, that's my stance on what I think he took. If anything, there's definitely evidence to suggest that he did take something. But with that being said, I don't really know at the end of the day, and you have to keep in mind that you literally have somebody spraying your abs down in between sets, and you're doing pump up exercises in between sets to look more jacked. And we all know the difference, having a pump versus not having a pump, and having good lighting and being, you know, having your vascularity popping because of the temperature, and all these things are going to play on how you look at the end of the day. So that plays a big role. But comparing what he normally looks like to what he looks like in this movie, it's not out of the question to assume he took something like a Winstrol, and that would be my guess if he did take something. So take from that what you will. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplatesmoredates.com. Check me out on Instagram at moreplates_moredates, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, etc. Talk to you guys soon.